Late-night television audiences witnessed an unusual crossover when Fox News' Greg Gutfeld appeared on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. Known for his politically charged humor and dominance in cable ratings, Gutfeld's visit to NBC's flagship late-night program was as much about bridging divides as it was about delivering laughs. The appearance sparked a wave of commentary, some celebratory, some critical, and set off a fresh conversation about the state of late-night entertainment. A rare late-night crossover. Greg Gutfeld, host of Fox News' Gutfeld, is no stranger to controversy, but stepping onto Fallon's stage was a rare move for a conservative media figure in the modern late-night landscape. The moment was warm and surprisingly lighthearted, with the two sharing jokes, old stories, and a mutual appreciation for the craft of entertainment. Reflecting on the experience afterward, Gutfeld called it a refreshing reminder of what late night used to be about. Fun. It took guts for Jimmy Fallon to have me on the show, not only because he risked criticism from the left, he said on his own program later that week. Instead of using his platform to confront Fallon or spark political fireworks, Gutfeld leaned into humor and common ground, much to the frustration of critics who expected a more combative exchange. Refusing to play to expectations. In his follow-up monologue, Gutfeld took aim at those disappointed by the cordial tone of his visit. They expected me to attack Jimmy Fallon, and they were mad when I didn't, he said. Those critics are as clueless and boring as Stephen Colbert interviewing Kamala Harris. It was a double-edged quip, both defending his choice to keep things light, and taking a shot at a rival late-night host for leaning too heavily into political interviews. The moment underlined a broader theme of Gutfeld's message. Entertainment should lead late night, not partisan sparring matches. Fallon's risk and reward. While Fallon has built his brand on affability and celebrity charm, having Gutfeld on was still a calculated risk. Late-night shows, particularly on the broadcast networks, tend to skew toward progressive audiences, and inviting a figure from Fox News can draw criticism from loyal viewers and online commentators alike. But Fallon's move coincided with the renewal of his NBC contract through 2028, signaling the network's continued faith in his approach, and perhaps a willingness to experiment with guests outside the usual roster. Gutfeld even joked about the timing. You see that, Colbert? You should have had me on. There's still time. I'll even bring the tissues. A well-placed jab at Colbert. Stephen Colbert became an easy target in Gutfeld's recap of the visit. At one point during Gutfeld, he showed a photo of Colbert mid-interview and teased that his own post-Fallon high lasted all the way home. Much to the amusement of his Uber driver. The implication was clear. Where Colbert's approach might feel overly scripted or politically slanted, Gutfeld's guest spot on Fallon was all about energy, spontaneity, and fun. This wasn't the first time Gutfeld had criticized Colbert, but in this context, it read as part of a larger argument that late night needs a shakeup, and the willingness to host an ideological opposite is one way to make that happen. Support from the Gutfeld panel. Gutfeld's co-hosts and panelists were quick to frame the appearance as a win, not just for him, but for broader cultural conversation. Comedian Tom Shilyu pointed out that Gutfeld and Fallon share a similar on-air rhythm, describing the interview as two guys who just like to have fun with guests. Conservative commentator C.J. Pearson went even further, positioning the moment as evidence that conservatives are winning the culture battle. He cited Gutfeld's appearance and other high-profile instances of right-leaning figures crossing into mainstream entertainment as signs of shifting attitudes among younger audiences. A gentle, but noticeable, cultural shift. For decades, the modern late-night format has been dominated by hosts whose humor leans left, from Colbert to Seth Meyers. While conservative guests occasionally appear, they are rarely the focus of a light-hearted, headline-making segment. Gutfeld's Tonight Show visit may not signal an immediate ideological overhaul, but it does hint at a willingness, at least from Fallon's side, to diversify the guest list. The question is whether such moments can become more common, or if this was a one-off novelty. Industry observers note that late-night ratings have been in steady decline for years, with streaming platforms, podcasts, and alternative shows like Gutfeld drawing away viewers. Inviting guests who appeal to different audiences could be a way to recapture some of that fragmented attention. Fallon's balancing act. Throughout the segment, Fallon stuck to his usual strengths. warm banter, nostalgic anecdotes, and playful games. He avoided topics that could turn contentious, ensuring the appearance stayed in his comfort zone. Some critics labeled the exchange softball, arguing that Fallon missed an opportunity to challenge Gutfeld on his more controversial statements or positions. Others countered that this was precisely the point, that not every late-night conversation needs to be a sparring match, and that entertainment can be its own form of bridge building. What it says about late-night's future. Gutfeld's appearance raises a few important takeaways for the late-night world. Guest diversity matters. The novelty of seeing Gutfeld on Fallon suggests audiences notice when shows break from their usual guest patterns. Tone is strategic. By avoiding political confrontation, both men ensured the moment appealed to a broader swath of viewers. Cultural lines can blur. In an era of fragmented media, shared humor may be one of the last common currencies between divided audiences. If late-night television wants to remain relevant, finding ways to surprise viewers, without alienating core fans, might be essential. Gutfeld's parting thoughts. Closing his recap, Gutfeld emphasized that his visit wasn't about scoring political points, but about showing that fun and entertainment can cross ideological lines. He encouraged more late-night hosts to take similar risks, suggesting it could help rejuvenate a format that often feels predictable. And while his Colbert jabs grabbed headlines, the more enduring message may have been about Fallon's willingness to reach across the aisle. In Gutfeld's words, sometimes it just takes a little guts.